What's going on, Knicks fans? Welcome to another edition of the KFS pregame show. Late minute edition that not even I was prepared for because we had a different we were told something different, Mensa, earlier. But my name's Andrew, his name's Mensa, and his name's Sean. We did not know you were joining us tonight, Sean.
I said in the group chat I can do. I was so. I'm available for. See, what happened was didn't realize.
I can do tonight. That's what you said. I can't do tomorrow. That's what you said. Okay.
Yes, and now I messed up your little your graphic thing. That's why you're the hostess with the mostest.
There we go. Welcome everybody to the KFS pregame show presented by our friends at WynnBet. All of your betting needs, head over to WynnBet Sportsbook. Special offer right now, bet 100, win 100. You download the app or go to wynnbet.com to start winning. That's wynnbet.com to start winning. Download, bet, win. People are going to get our live reaction to something on the pregame show. For those that are joining us live, there is apparently some news, and I got to be honest. From the moment the buzzer sounded on Wednesday night, I was somewhat dreading that any conversation about the Knicks, because that was one of the more embarrassing losses more disheartening losses that I've felt in a while for the Knicks. And yet, coming into this, when I thought that this would be a call for the coach's head, may end up being that way anyway. What I thought may end up being like this guy needs to play, that guy needs to play, and just a referendum on the season. Look at Wembanyama and what he's doing right now. KFS's own John Macri reported this morning that he is hearing from one of his sources a lineup change is coming. And in the next few minutes, we'll find out if that lineup change is actually happening. The rumor is that Quentin Grimes will be inserted into the starting five. I will start with you, Mensa. How are you feeling about Quentin Grimes potentially entering the starting five?
I'm very excited about the prospects of adding a 3-and-D basketball player instead of just 3 basketball player and Evan Fournier and sometimes 3, to be honest. I'm really excited about it. You know, I'm all about the youth movement. I think that Quentin Grimes is the player that we heard about all off season, that they would not insert him into any trades. So you have to play him, and you have to play him a lot in order to make it, especially two games after we just saw Donovan Mitchell basically put a 40-piece on us. We need to see Quentin Grimes. We need to see him a lot. We need to see him starting now. So if that is the news, I am more than ecstatic and I'm ready.
Sean, what about you?
That is the sound of me not holding my breath.
Well done.
I will believe it when I see it. I'm stealing this from Twitter. It took Tom Thibodeau 82, 83, 84 games to bench Elfrid Payton.
74 games.
70. That's true, because it took him 74 games to bench Elfrid Payton. It took 20 to bench Kemba Walker. It took this man is resistant to change above all, so I'll believe it when I see it.
I don't disagree on his rigidity. I also look, I'm going by the reporting here. I've been told that a change is most likely coming tonight. We will get our live reactions later in the show to see if this change is actually going to come. Having said that, the Knicks do have a basketball game tonight, and in the interest of moving forward, we will talk about said basketball game tonight. By the way, Mensa, if you can, just mute when you're not talking. I could literally hear your chair, but you're good. Okay. Everybody, we're going to talk about every time I look over at my phone when it goes off, it's to see if this lineup is coming. The Knicks play the Philadelphia 76ers, who are 4-5 on the season. Strangely enough, they are 1-3 at home. This is what they look like in the standings so far this season. They're 1-3 at home. They started the season 0-3. They're 4-2 since. They were playing without James Harden tonight. This is how their schedule has gone so far this season. Like I said, started the first 3. They're coming off of a loss against Washington and a home on Halloween and then again on Wednesday. They have won 3 of their last 4 and 4 of their last 6. So this isn't a team that is struggling as much as they did when the season started. Player to watch, at least a highlight to start for here, is one Tyrese Maxey. These are his numbers to start the year. He's averaging 24-3 and 3 on 46%, 47% from 3 on, I think this is around 6 or 7 attempts. John and I just did a Patreon pod where we do this every year. We're going to be doing this every year where we talk about the awards races from the beginning of the year and we track it throughout the year. So we have our front runners, and Tyrese Maxey is a very high front runner for, or at least one of the front runners for the most improved player category. The Philadelphia 76ers are in the top 5 in offensive rating. They are 4th in turnover percentage. They are 6th in effective field goal percentage and true shooting. They are 1st, and then 3-point percentage, they are 2nd. The Philadelphia 76ers are bottom 5 in pace. They're one of the slowest teams in the NBA. In rebound percentage, as well as offensive rebound percentage, they are 29th and 30th in both of those categories. Might be a night for Mitch and for Hartenstein to clean up on the glass. And ironically, a team with James Harden. Now, James Harden is now out. So this is a recent establishment or development, I should say. And they are 26th in free throws attempted and 27th in fouls drawn. So it's weird trying to figure out what the Sixers team is. I think they're also trying to figure out what this team is, like they're trying to fit Harden and Embiid and a budding star and Maxey. Is just there are a lot of peripherals that don't really make a lot of sense. That a James Harden team is not drawing a lot of fouls, that a Joel Embiid team is really bad at rebounding, especially offensive rebounding. Sean, we'll go to you first. What intrigues you most about the Sixers matchup tonight?
I think so. I have a lot of Sixers fan friends. And the common refrain that I've heard from many of them this season is that they have legitimately recreated the 2018 Houston Rockets, where it's James Harden with the ball, dribble, and standing around, which is fine because I've seen that formula get him an MVP and get the Rockets to the conference finals. That formula does not work when you have Joel fucking Embiid on your team. So I expect Joel. So what intrigues me is how will Joel Embiid go off tonight and remind everybody that he is the process. Philadelphia is his city, and he is the captain then, now, and forever. So I'm interested to see how that will happen. The rebounding numbers are interesting, but I'm not going to get sucked into that with Mitch because I believe that when Mitch goes up against elite centers, it is 3 rebounds, 4 rebounds, 2 rebounds. So and that's a little preview of betting and sweating, or something I will not be betting, but I'm curious to see how the Sixers go about it, how the Sixers go about their offense. Them being that much in pace is also interesting because that actually plays into our hands, though we've tried to push the pace. Andrew, Claudio, I told you on this show, when this shit hits the fan, one number 30 will go back to what he has become, and that's exactly what has happened. Poor decision making. Yes, his terrible shots are in the paint now.
That's the thing. It's not the same. It's different. The shot chart's different.
But the decision making, I missed this open guy. I'm dribble. Like, yes, the shot in the lane is good. However, when you spend 8 seconds dribbling at the elbow, that is not as good. I told you.
The ISO Randall possessions got to stop. I agree. One of the biggest things when we were watching on playback the other night that Benji pointed out was that these possessions where Brunson doesn't touch the ball just can't happen. And shout out to Benji, who has been killing it with these film session reviews. One of the things he's noticed is like teams are letting Randall and Barrett do what they want because Brunson's the threat, and that's like it reflects in the usage numbers too. I am done grading Julius Randle on a curve. That's how I've gone into this season. It was like, well, the process is good, so we'll see if the results eventually show up. It's almost like he's just like having bad possessions, but making sure they end in the paint so the shot chart looks great. I'm eventually going to need to see some kind of results from him, and I haven't for a couple games now. Before we get to Mensa, this is from Zach Braziller of the New York Post. This is from Tom Thibodeau, a direct quote. We didn't have an opportunity to get a look at Quentin in the preseason, in the starting lineup in the preseason.
We didn't have an opportunity to look at Quentin in the lineup in the preseason. We were going to evaluate it then and maybe get a couple quarters in. So this gives us an opportunity to do it now.
So, Sean, you could breathe. This all but confirms that this is going to happen, man. I'm just saying, this all but confirms it's going to happen. You need to see it. You need to see it happen. I get it.
I literally have on my second screen the Knicks Twitter feed, and I'm just gonna keep hitting refresh until I see the starting lineup.
You're Zuckerberg at the end of the social network. You're just hitting refresh until that friend request goes through. I got you.
Yes.
Mensa, what intrigues you about the Sixers matchup?
Wow. I didn't know the Philadelphia 76ers fans felt the same way that I felt about their own team. I feel like ego is a hell of a thing. And I think that Daryl Morey can't let go of the 2018 Houston Rockets and said, you know what, I'm going to take all of those guys and bring them to Philadelphia. Except, again, Joel Embiid is the best player on that team. And 4 years is a very, very, very long time in sports. 4 years ago, Kevin Knox was still a New York Knick. And that feels like forever ago, even though his tenure ended with us, in January this year. The Philadelphia 76ers, if it is true that Quentin Grimes is starting, I am interested in seeing what interests me most is Quentin Grimes' defense on Tyrese Maxey, because his line is very high tonight. Last I checked, it was 25.5 points for Tyrese Maxey.
I mean, guy averaging 24 a game, that makes sense, you know?
It does, but not when Evan Fournier is not on the court.
Not when Evan Fournier is on the court, yeah.
So if I had to say anything about the 76ers, I think that they're kind of a ticking time bomb. I don't think that the 2018 Houston Rockets plus Joel Embiid formula is going to work, because at the end of it, when you key in on Harden and the flopping stops and you have to give somebody the ball, and it's Embiid and he's getting the ball late, he's not hot, he's upset, I don't think it's going to work out long term. So I guess that brings me to a very hot take. I think Embiid will ask out in the next calendar year. In the next 12 months, I think he asks out. I think he's going to be done with it. I don't know where he's going to go, but I do think he's going to ask out. I just don't see how that works out, and I think he's had enough in Philadelphia. So, yeah, I'm not very high on the 76ers prospects long term, but tonight I think they're a tough match for us. I think, again, Mitchell Robinson struggles with elite centers. He played Embiid well last year, relatively well. But if Embiid gets him in foul trouble, which he's been prone to get into foul trouble this year, we're going to see a lot of Hartenstein, and that may not bode very well for the Knicks defensively.
That's why I was going to say if that was the case, that this might be a game to pick some Embiid over props, because then if Mitch is out, then we go to Hartenstein, who's struggled so far defensively, especially on the defensive boards. So this might be an Embiid night if you were going to go to our friends at WynnBet and place a bet on a prop that benefits a Joel Embiid performance tonight. Want to get to a quick super chat from one Mr. XJ. Thank you, XJ, for the contribution. We miss you. Hope you're. I think he's I forget why he's not here tonight, but it's not his turn tonight. That's right. $5 for AC's impression of Tibbs and the best Knicks pregame show on YouTube. Mensa and Sean are on point tonight. Co-sign everything in that. Thank you, XJ. Thank you to everybody watching as well. We've got over 120 people watching us for the pregame show. No lineup yet. Tibbs is letting us go down to the wire. Okay. Before we get to betting and sweating, let's take 10 seconds. No, I'm not going to take 10 seconds and laugh at the Nets. Before we get to betting and sweating, I'm going to give us 5 minutes, or give you guys 5 minutes to let your Tom Thibodeau frustrations out. No holds barred. This is a safe space. Macri will not suddenly show up on the pod, on the stream. Mensa, any Tom Thibodeau frustrations you have, let them out.
It's more the same. I did not expect Tom Thibodeau. Okay, so I want to peel it all back. Bill Belichick has a saying, and I love to go to football, that it's better to get rid of a guy a year early than a year late. We learned that with Julius Randle. We should have got rid of him a year early and not a year late, because now we can't get rid of him. And same thing with Tom Thibodeau. I think that, well, if he starts Quentin Grimes, it kind of like he has new life. But okay. On the Atlanta Hawks pregame show, I said 2 things. I said the Knicks will either win this game or they will lose this game. Scoring 10 points in the third quarter, that's a good way to lose a game. I don't think Atlanta won that game. I think the Knicks lost it, especially because we were up 23 points in the second quarter. And I said another thing, that if Evan Fournier plays 24 or more minutes, the Knicks will lose. He played 19, but he played 19 out of a possible 36 because he did not play the fourth quarter. So he kind of played half the game. He played half the game that he was allowed in, is what I would say. And that didn't help. I counted maybe 2 or 3 times he lost Trae Young in transition. Just being a bad defender in general didn't help. Didn't help when DeJounte Murray was going off for 36. Having Evan Fournier on the court didn't help us at all. And kind of it's hard to stop a team's momentum, especially a team like Atlanta that you can tell when they play, they want to beat the Knicks. You can tell when they play, they want to come into Madison Square Garden and beat the Knicks. They're dancing on us and they're just happy. Once they got rolling, it was hard to stop. So a coach has to have a sense for something like that. And I feel like Tom Thibodeau has more confidence in his ability to coach than he has sensibility as a coach. You see a guy like Emmanuel Quickly, who is rebounding, out-efforting everybody. A 6'3" guard getting double-digit rebounds, that's effort. You got to reward that. Obi Toppin can shoot the ball. He can play good. He's a good basketball player. His per 36 is ridiculous for a guy who gets 12 minutes a game. He's underutilized, and I can't understand why. It's not like Julius Randle is a stalwart defender, and I don't want to talk about Julius. I'm going to move on. But it really is frustrating as a fan, because you watch your organization draft these players, you believe in these players, you watch them validate your belief, and then the coach is just oh, well, you didn't watch the film 3 times. I'm sorry. I'm seeing things that you're not seeing. And it just feels like more of the same with Tom Thibodeau. And again, I did say that on the at the Atlanta Post pregame that if things went wrong, fans would start to call from Thibodeau's job on the night, and that's what happened. So, I can't say that I'm surprised. Thibodeau is who I thought he was, and it's the roster is heading in a direction that he is not willing to lead them. So I think I think he needs to leave.
Okay, well said. Sean, you're up.
My friend Allie Campbell, who I've known since I was 10 years old, him and I on opposite sides of the Tom Thibodeau spectrum. He was always a fan of Thibodeau's. I wasn't. And philosophically, if I had to choose between an offensive coach and a defensive coach, I choose the offensive coach, simply because offensive coaches don't get in the way. Defensive coaches do. Defensive coaches are more likely to stifle than an offensive coach. Defensive coaches want to run the ball, punt, and let the defense and trust the defense, right? I've heard many Tom Thibodeau supporters, including someone who is the dean of Knicks Film School, laud Tom Thibodeau because he tries to win every game. I fundamentally disagree with that. Tom Thibodeau doesn't want to win every game. He wants to not lose every game, because that's how he coaches. He coaches not to lose, because I believe he has an innate fear of losing, and fear will always do the work of reason. That is why you can do the same thing over and over and over and expect a different result. You know what? I don't even know if he expects a different result. He may know the result may change, but he is so afraid of losing. He says, okay, I'm going to go to what I know because I'm afraid of going to what I don't know because he doesn't trust it. The We Here season, listen, he squeezed every ounce of that team that he could. There's a discussion that we have on Twitter Spaces. Shout out to the locker room where we go, we discuss if people are floor raisers or ceiling raisers. He's absolutely a floor raiser. He will raise the floor of your franchise. But when the shit hits the fan, people do not rise to the occasion. They sink to their level of training.
Mm-hmm.
And time again, Tom Thibodeau has shown us that when the shit hits the fan, he will sink to his level of training. He is 64 years old, which means this is his last coaching job, most head coaching job. He is staring his coaching mortality in the face, and he continues to do the same thing over and over. Thanks for the memories, Tom. It's time to say goodbye.
Okay, so before we get to our picks, to betting and sweating, I hear both of you. What do you think a new coach is going to do? Like,
You can go first, man.
Either one. What is a new coach going to make Julius shoot efficiently all of a sudden? Is a new coach going to make RJ start shooting efficiently all of a sudden?
A new coach honestly might not do anything fundamentally different. But all I'm asking for, because the roster is the roster,
mm-hmm.
and a new coach is not going to, raise the ceiling on the roster. Like what Nate McMillan did with the Atlanta Hawks 2 years ago was out of the blue, and we will never see that again.
Very rare, yeah.
But if a new coach decides, you know what, it's going to be hard to do the thing that Darvin Ham did in benching Russell Westbrook and look Julius in his face and say, you might be better off on the second unit. And I want to try this Obi Toppin kid. The problem that I have with our lineup is that if you're going to go for it, go for it. You want to go all offense, then start Brunson, Quickly, Barrett, Toppin, and Hartenstein, because that is something, that's all one group. Like, you can see how that works. The lineup that we have, yeah, it's a bunch of high-paid players, but does it work? Like, I want to see a coach come in and develop cohesion as far as his lineups, and I don't think that Tom Thibodeau, as a coach, has been able to develop cohesion outside of the second unit. And if it works well in the second unit, why wait until 9 minutes into the game to bring the second unit in to play catch-up? Why do that? Why not just install some of the guys who are playing really well on your second unit into the first unit and change things up? I don't see what is the worst that could happen? You lose four fewer games, and what? You lose 4 fewer games, and then your starters you have younger starters, so people feel better about the process. I don't have a problem with the 37 and 45 record that we had last year. I had a problem with watching all 82 games of that 37 and 45 because the losses were so infuriating because of coaching. I don't want a coach who's going to install Alec Burks at the 6-minute mark after Emmanuel Quickly has been cooking. I don't want that. I don't want a guy who is so stubborn. And I guess that's what I would like to see from a coach. I don't want a coach who is stubborn. I want a coach to allow his team to show him who they are, and he guides that. Instead of, I'm the captain, I know what I'm doing, and you guys don't watch enough film, so I know I'm right. I just think the mentality behind Tom Thibodeau's coaching style is what led us here. I don't think he's a bad coach, but I would prefer for him to go away.
I hear you. I know what Sean's about to say too. I personally would be okay with a coaching change. I think we're all in for a very rude awakening when whoever's next does the exact same thing. And as far as Tom Thibodeau not being willing to experiment, Quentin Grimes is starting tonight, officially. So what everybody wanted in the offseason, what everybody's been asking for 7 games, I would just remind everybody, it's been 7 games this year. And none of us, outside of me and Mensa, thought that the Knicks were winning it. Well, okay, Sean, you also were part of the 45 Hive. So,
Yes.
like, the three of us were, this team could win 45 games and potentially be an 8 seed. And they're right now the 10 seed, where a lot of people had them slotted. And on pace to win 40 games, where a lot of people had them slotted. More than Vegas had them predicted to win. I do think that Tibbs is very stubborn and is only going to do what he's comfortable with. I don't think a new coach is going to come in here and experiment the way you guys think he will. I don't think a new coach is coming in to bench Julius Randle. I don't think a new coach is coming in and then starting Obi Toppin and then like quickly might play the same amount of minutes at the same point. You're asking for an organizational upheaval in process and philosophy that they're not trying so very hard to get to the middle. They're asking for a team that doesn't care about wins and losses and is solely about development. Now, I actually think they'd win more games if Quickly plays more and Toppin plays more. So that is also, like, I agree with the sentiment there. I just, like, to put all of this on Tibbs when their two most high usage players have been two of the worst in their positions in the league, and this is the roster he was given. I think we're all in for a rude awakening when he's gone and Johnny Bryant potentially does the exact same thing.
Can I just jump in really quickly?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I just want to say that usage is a function of offense, and Tom Thibodeau's offense has not been much more graduated from David Fizdale's eat what you kill offense, where it's just, okay, I'm going to switch you out and let Julius Randle pretend he's Jabari Parker at Simeon High School for 15 seconds. So while the usage is a problem because RJ Barrett and Julius Randle have not been good, they're also empowered by the lack of creativity in this offense that our head coach has brought in. So yes, the front office signed some contracts that are looking like very big mistakes. And the way the roster is constructed is harmful to process in general. But there are things that you can do within the margins to really get the most out of the project.
Fair enough. Sean, what's up?
I agree with you. I think if they fired Tom Thibodeau and made Johnny Bryant the coach tomorrow, Julius is still starting. I think like that's a pipe dream to me. I think that I don't think that like all of a sudden Evan Fournier will be traded to Siberia or whatever. So that I agree with. What I will say a new coach would do, hopefully, is put the players in the best position to succeed. To bring up Bill Belichick again, one of the things that Bill Belichick does is that when he gets a new player, he doesn't concentrate on what you can't do. He concentrates on what you can do. He figures out what you're good at and what you're not good at. So they can try and improve you what you're not good at, but put you in position to succeed where you're not good at. The tape on Obi Toppin does not suggest that he should be a floor spacer. The tape does not. Okay. Yes, Julius Randle's inefficient. RJ Barrett's inefficient. They both occupy the same place. As John has said, why have they played so many minutes together?
Mm-hmm.
Why have you not staggered? I would love to see more minutes for RJ and iHeart. Why haven't we seen these little changes? Figure out.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Figure out what you have. Put your players in a position to succeed, figure out what they're good at and what they're not good at, and go from there. But instead of saying, well, I need rim protection at 48 minutes. I always go back to that Brooklyn game because Steve Nash, and I think Steve Nash caught a lot of crap last year. I think his coaching job last year was better than anyone. Steve Nash figured out, you know what? I'm going to put LaMarcus Aldridge, who cannot rim protect a freaking anything at center. And I'm going to run this Cam Johnson, LaMarcus Aldridge pick and roll over and over again. And you know why? Because I know Tom Thibodeau is going to keep Mitchell Robinson in this game, who's not good in pick and roll cover, and is going to drop, and Cam is not going to switch, and Cam Thomas is going to walk into easy jumpers. Like, that's so for me, a new coach, if we were to get a new coach, at the end of the day, I can say, like, all right, he found, oh, guess what? I can play Obi and Julius together. And a sinkhole doesn't open in Madison Square Garden and we all drop into it, right? Like those things. And listen, I'm not like, and I'm not saying that you should play them 25 minutes a game, whatever, but like there
4
are
or 5,
certain
4 or 5.
there are certain situations, like for example, against Milwaukee, that game warranted Obi and Julius together. Is it Milwaukee?
Not Milwaukee. I
Not
don't
Milwaukee.
I don't want them playing together with
No,
Brook
not
Lopez,
Milwaukee.
Bobby Portis, and Giannis on the court.
Charlotte
Might warranted it.
Charlotte,
yes.
because they went super small. And it was like, okay, you can get away with this now. So that's what I think, that like there are changes that could be at least tried, because like Mensa said, what do you have to lose?
I agree. I wish those changes would come. What I am saying, as much as Leon Rose said all decisions are up to Tibbs, I really don't think the radical changes and experimentations are going to come with a new head coach. I just don't. This happens on a lot of teams around the league where putting people in the optimal position to succeed. Like Obi Toppin's playing against backups. Manuel Quickly's playing against backups. That's why their numbers look the way they do. They're overqualified bench players. You know, I would love to find out. Like, that's the argument for last season. The season was lost. Just find out with Quickly starting for 25 games looks like, what Toppin next to Randall for 3 minutes a night looks like. And that's why last year it's more of a case. We are 8 games into this season, and he has already made a coaching change, a lineup change. That's already more progress than we saw last year. And by the way, last year, 20 games in, he benched the big offseason acquisition in Kemba Walker. And if it wasn't for everybody and their mother catching Omicron, maybe their lineup actually does stay the same and they're a 500 team throughout the year. Look, I think it's going to happen. We'll see if a Quentin Grimes insertion into the starting 5 changes things, but it's going to happen. I think that we will get our wish and find out how much radically different a team not coached by Tom Thibodeau is with the same roster, you know?
Agree. I don't think there's any coach that comes in and this team wins 50 games. But I will say that I will push back on the ideas like, well, it's only been 7 games. No, it's been 88 games.
They didn't have Jalen Brunson for a single game last year.
Yeah, but no, you're right. But we've seen Evan Fournier at the 2 for 89 games.
And he's sitting.
Yes. But why did it take 89 games?
Evan Fournier made more threes than anybody in the sport after December 1st or January 1st last year.
I have a tweet out there that says Evan Fournier has a place on this team, and I will die on that hill. I think the people who think that we get rid of Evan Fournier and if everything turns around, I think those people are, whatever they're smoking, pass it over to me. But at some point, you have to, like, it was. Think about it. There was this concern that if you bring in Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson backcourt will get cooked.
Mm-hmm.
Did we not think a Jalen Brunson and Evan Fournier backcourt will get cooked? Now, yes.
Why Quentin Grimes is starting tonight? Yeah.
Now, here's a question: do you think? And you could go on to we can move.
I have it up. We can do it after. You're good.
Do you think if Grimes would get hurt, he would start at night 1?
I do. I think we would. This is not me. I'm not Macri. I don't have sources. Everything I did hear from anybody that would know is that Tibbs was thinking about this. Then Quentin Grimes got hurt. And then we never got a chance to look at it. Then it's why he was going to inch his way back in the night of the last preseason game. And he re-aggravated his injury. Mm-hmm. So it's been 7 more games of hell as a result. The day of the free agency live stream, when we had Benji sitting here and brought up the idea of Grimes starting next to Brunson, so you have more defense in the starting 5. Like, that's how long this idea has been out there. And Tibbs obviously saw it, and like, here we are. I know people want it to be Quickly. I know people want it to be Obi. I hope that, and look, apparently Emmanuel Quickly's team hopes that Quickly gets another job on a different team that's willing to give him max minutes so we can see if he is Tyrese Maxey just being held back. Same thing for Obi. If he's Amari Stoudemire, just be waiting to held back. They are overqualified bench players at this point. I would like to see them stagger. I would like to see some things different. This is also just the roster they have, and potentially a new head coach is going to just be exactly the same and do exactly the same. I understand just people want something different because different is better than what we currently have. Be careful what you wish for, is all I'm saying. You might be asking for a radical upheaval that I don't necessarily know is going to come unless a front office change happens. Go ahead.
Define radical upheaval.
Like Leon Rose is gone.
I mean, like, look, man. look.
I am pro tank. I am pro tank. Please do not tease me.
He's not exactly Jerry West. And
that's not Masai Ujiri out there.
Yeah, like it's not. Listen, and again, I have defended this front office more than a little bit. I even on Canvas Study Hall today, I broke down like if we acquiesced to Danny Ainge's demands and traded and made the trade for Donovan Mitchell, what our roster would have looked like, what our assets would have looked like, and how the complaint would not have been, oh, we don't have Donovan Mitchell, we're mid. It would have been like, oh, now we're stuck being Donovan Mitchell and we're stuck being mid. Mm-hmm. But this front office has
committed to mid. Yeah, they're determined to be mid. Yeah.
All right, you know what? It's funny. It's funny you say that. I was in the shocker. I was in the Twitter space this morning, and I actually got into a little back and forth with the Raptors fans. And what I said to the Raptors fans, because I believe the Raptors fans are just like, they talk about they're so high and mighty, and we have this and Vision 69, and we have do this and we do that in our development. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, you and I are not winning shit this year. You realize that, right? The Raptors are mid because they're going to be at most a 4 seed. They may win a first round series, probably not, because they're probably going to get bounced on the first round, whatever, right? But their mid looks better than ours, right? Like they can convince themselves, like, all right, this is a path to somewhere. And I think that's what the We Here season was. It was like we were mid. Well, we're better than mid. We translate like a 47 win pace, right? But we could convince ourselves. Yeah, we were 4 seed. We could convince ourselves, but we knew we were winning the title. But that looked better. Our mid, the how we got to this mid is like, whether you want to talk about the Mitchell trade or not tanking, bringing in Rose, Fournier, Kemba, like that mid, just like you can be. I've said this before. Listen, Houston never tanked and got James Harden. They were a better type of mid. Miami never tanked and they were able to get Jimmy Butler. They were a different type of mid. Like they had the We Here season. They went from 11-30 to 30-11 in 1 year, right? And then what they do? And then they re-signed everybody. James Johnson, Deion Waiters, yada yada. And it was like everyone's laughing at them. And while everyone's laughing at them, Jimmy Butler was like, right? So you can be mid, just be successful. Listen, Atlanta's mid.
Hold on.
But guess what? Atlanta is mid. Like, they're not winning the time, but it looks better. Like, there's like, you can squint and be like, all right, we didn't win the title, but we have something. What do we got?
We got to move on to betting this wedding. I want to just to summarize this all. I think that the frustration is you don't want to play a team where your ceiling is mid. You can have a team with a lower floor that if you achieve mid, it's like, oh, that's fine. This could get better. I did not see anything better than a 7 seed at best for this team. Now, the rest of the league might cooperate. Good Lord, what's happening with the other New York team. But I agree the sentiment of, like, I went on a pod with Dan Favale before the season to preview the Knicks, and he was like, what's one complaint you have? I didn't realize there would be many things to complain about 9 games in, but I said, like, if I had one complaint, it's that, like, this team is destined to be nowhere in the championship race or the Wembanyama race. So that's the only, like, that I think is the core frustration, is that if we're going to be in the middle, then let's do it with the chance where the floor or the ceiling could actually be different rather than the actual ceiling being mid. Let's get to betting and sweating. This is presented by our friends at WynnBet. Sign up for their special offer today. You bet 100, you win 100. Yeah, let me pull it up. I got to share my screen. There we go. Okay, folks, this is WynnBet.com. You can go to the website now or download the WynnBet app today. If you check it out on your phone. The lines for tonight, the Knicks are +4 in Philadelphia. The money line for them to win is plus 140. The over-under for tonight is 219.5. If you want to go through some player props, Julius Randle is at 17.5 for total points. Jalen Brunson is at 16.5. RJ Barrett is at 19.5. They don't have any here on there was some starting lineup uncertainty for the 76ers. So the Sixers don't have any of player props listed directly. But if you go to combos, you can mix and match with Tyrese Maxey, points and assists. You can get anywhere from 20 to 40, and the odds get better as we go. If you are feeling Joel Embiid with the potential of a Mitch foul trouble game, they actually don't have Embiid odds listed for tonight. Say you're feeling Obi Toppin, a resurgence that these games that we've seen from him are going to continue. 10-2 from Obi gets you minus 105 for the night. 10-3 from Obi, or how about this? 13 points from Obi Toppin gets you plus 130 for the night. I'm curious what they have. Did they take Fournier's rebounds down? Fournier's 3-pointers down? Yes, they did. Okay, that was smart.
Stop betting on Evan Fournier.
I'm not. I'm just seeing if they had it up there still. I was going to take the under. Okay. Sean, you go first. What is your bet for tonight? Oh, hold on. We got 2 super chats to get to. First of all, I think he can officially call himself the king of the Quentin Grimes Hive. Kevin Danishevsky, QG Hive Live 2022-23 Quentin Grimes All-Star Campaign begins. Smiley face. Then we get to the next super chat from TK. This is Hush Zoo. Quentin, are you quoting Jaws right now? I can't tell. Anyway, exciting. Some change has come. We are getting a different starting lineup tonight. Mets, Sean, I asked you first. What is your betting and sweating pick for tonight?
I really wanted to take Embiid over rebounds, but it's not up there. And because I remember I apparently he has like a non-COVID illness, so he's questionable. And I keep refreshing the Sixers Twitter feed, and I don't see a starting lineup. Cut the crap. So I will go with Quentin Grimes. I will go with Jalen Brunson over 16.5 points at minus 125. I believe that Jalen, he went up against 2 of the better guard defenders in the league in Drew Holiday and DeJounte Murray. Tyrese Maxey's many things. A defender he is not. I'm assuming that Shake Milton will be in the lineup, replacing James Harden. I mean, Shake Milton is, it's all right. But I'm going to go Jalen Brunson over on points.
All right, Mensa, what's up? What you got?
I'm taking the Knicks first half money line. I think that's at plus 115. I like it a lot tonight, especially after the announcement.
Plus 125, actually. Even better.
I'm taking it. I think that Quentin Grimes being in the starting lineup, not only does that give the Knicks a point of attack defender, but then it slots RJ off to be that really good help side defender that we all know he can be. So I think the Knicks defense is going to get a boost, and we all know Thibodeau is going to pack the paint and either foul Embiid or make his life more difficult. And with the loss of a James Harden, that bench gets a little bit thinner. Thinner bench against my bench means we're going to wreck you. So I like the Knicks first half ML. I don't know if by the second half, if Tyrese Maxey will get it going or if Joel Embiid will decide he's the best player on the court. But I do like the Knicks for the first 2 quarters at plus money.
Good stuff. XJ has sent us his bet. No shock to anybody. He is taking Obi Toppin 10+ points and assists at plus 110. So one of the kings of the Obi Hive, one of the commissioners of the Obi Hive. I see you, Blood of DePanta, in the chat. Thank you to everybody watching along. We've had consistently around 200 people over the last 20 minutes or so. So thank you everybody for watching along. So those are your 3 bets. I'm back and forth. So let me just show you a game prop. So Mensa, you think the Knicks will be winning in the first half, right?
Absolutely.
So then they might be. What if they win the game? What if they lose the game like last time? Like this is the Hawks game. What happened was they were winning at halftime and lost. So halftime Knicks, full-time winner 76ers is plus 575.
That's juicy. I like that.
And I think that's where I'm going. So I think
I like the
I
odds
will
on
take
that.
the Knicks to win the first half, the 76ers to win the second half. I've not won yet this year. So that is my reminder to all of you. Fade Claudio is your best potential bet. That siren you hear in the background is people is the police coming to tell you to not bet what I tell you to bet. So Fade Claudio is your bet for tonight. Having said that, Matt Smith, what is wait.
Yes, I'm seeing the same thing you're seeing.
Okay. Can I retract what I just said? Joel Embiid is okay. Let me get this up on the screen.
We need to confirm this.
We need to hold on. Let me remove us. Okay,
if Embiid is out, hammer the first half.
First half Knicks first half money line. That is that.
Hammer that.
I'm gonna look now just to make sure this is real.
See. Okay, Zach Brazilier from New York Post an hour ago said Doc Rivers expects Joel Embiid to play tonight. So I don't know what to believe.
That's got to be some strategic gamesmanship and this is why this is why there were no lines, because they weren't announcing any of their lineups yet.
Okay, Sean Bernard of Sixers staff writer of Heavy on Sports says Embiid is out tonight.
Yeah,
and Montrezl Harrell will be starting in his place.
Yep, Stephen Bondi. No Harden. Whoa. Oh, okay. Never mind. I saw no Harden for a month from Steve Popper and no Embiid tonight for the Sixers. Okay. That is interesting. Okay.
Can I change my pick?
Mitchell Robinson, come on down. Okay, as we pull this back up, these lines are not going to be the same when you go to hit. So let me refresh.
Of course not.
Let me see what they got when I refresh. Well, let's see how is the line move? Now it's 2.5. See, if you were watching earlier, you should have. Hold on, I have something to read in a second. If you were watching earlier when it was +4, you should have taken it, because now the Knicks are getting 2 less points now that Embiid is out for the night. Shout out to Reliquum Gaming, the Remnant from from New Mexico. Fastest you've ever been wrong, Claudio. Well done. What I say, fade Claudio. That's the bet you should make every time. Okay. Am I crazy to say Knicks money line should be my bet tonight?
No, you're not.
Hammer.
I'm going Knicks money line +110. I'll take it. Okay. So the parlay.
Actually, wait a minute.
The parlay is 100 to win 1487, and then these are the bets across the board. Although odds change, so the Knicks money line, this is definitely different. Let me go ahead. What are you gonna say, Sean?
Maybe you should take halftime, full time Knicks for +250.
Look at you. Okay, so Knicks +250. That's what we're going with. Okay, we're getting Claudio a W tonight. You know what's gonna happen? Because I went with this instead of just the money line, they'll be down 5 at halftime and they'll win the game. That's what's gonna happen, Sean. Okay, so these are our betting and sweating picks for tonight. In total, although what changed? Oh no, I need to scroll down. So Jalen Brunson over 16.5. We put that in now, even though the odds have changed, so that's different now. You can all go look it. Actually, we'll just go here and look now. Yeah, it's locked in, so you can't bet it, but what Mensa has, or what Sean has, is over 16.5. Obi Toppin, 10 points, 10 plus points and assists is XJ's bet. The Knicks that's what happened. Mensa's bet went away. The Knicks first half money line, which is now +100. We'll still give it to you at +125 though, because that's what it was before. And then mine is the Knicks to win the halftime and the Knicks to win the game. +250. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, for betting and sweating. And thank you, as always, to our friends at WynnBet. Download the WynnBet app now or visit wynnbet.com to start winning. Sign up today to receive a special offer. Bet 100, win 100. Download, bet, win. Any final thoughts before we get out of here, fellas?
If
About to watch a
if we
W?
lose, if we lose tonight, tomorrow it will be a very anti atmosphere at 33rd and 7th. I will be in the building.
I was gonna say, are you going? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it will be because honestly, like Wednesday night when the shit hit the fan, it was just like, here we go again. So hopefully we win tonight, and we can have an enjoyable experience Saturday against the Celtics.
I would like a happy Saturday. Yes. Mensa, any final thoughts?
Once again, the Knicks control their own destiny. They will either win this game or they will lose it. I think Emmanuel quickly really gets up to play Tyrese Maxey, as we remember that very fateful crossover early in the season last year. I really like the Knicks' chances tonight, especially with no Harden, no Embiid. They have no excuse tonight, because who's gonna, like, if tonight is the Tobias Harris game, is he even playing?
I think so. I have no reason to think. Let me pull up the Sixers starting five. Go ahead, though.
If tonight is the Tobias Harris game, then this season is cursed, and we should all start looking into Wembanyama, Scoot Henderson, and apparently Imani Bates looks pretty good over at Eastern Michigan. So yeah, we cannot lose tonight. Tonight, hammer the money line, and I expect because there's no Embiid tonight. I like RJ Barrett points now because there's no rim protector, and RJ is going to get to the line. He's gonna drive a lot tonight. So hopefully the Knicks don't let us down. The Knicks will either win this game or lose this game. Philadelphia has no chance to win it. It'll either be a Knicks loss or a Knicks win.
Starting five for the Sixers tonight: Montrezl Harrell, Tobias Harris, PJ Tucker, Tyrese Maxey, and DeAnthony Melton. Hopefully, this is a happy recap when John is on a little later. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the KFS pregame show. Follow all of us individually on Twitter. Our handles are in our name tags on the screen. Thank you to Sean. Thank you to Mensa. As always, we'll be back tomorrow before the game, hopefully talking about a chance at a 2-game winning streak. John will be here after the game with all your questions on our super chats, recapping the next game against the Philadelphia 76ers. All right, now someone said in the chat that Embiid is playing. No, that's fake news. We are signing off with the knowledge that Joel Embiid is not playing tonight. That is the last mention. Let's go, Knicks. Hopefully we get a W tonight. Knicks Nation, let's ride.